Howdy, howdy, Chris here. Welcome to Garage Noise, the channel that's dedicated to helping you with your repair or restoration project. And today, I've got a little bit of an unconventional repair for you. We're not going to be painting this entire bumper. We're not going to be removing this bumper. We're going to be doing a DIY repair on one spot on this bumper cover. So we've got some delamination here right in the center. We're going to be correcting that. We'll be repainting this area and then blending the clear coat in this bumper. Now, typically I don't do these kind of repairs, but there is a place for something like this. If you're working at home, you're working out of your garage, you're a hobbyist, and you just want to clean up your bumper cover just a little bit, I can show you how. And this repair, even though it's not going to be a perfect repair and it's not going to last forever, it'll clean up your vehicle, make it look better, and it's going to be much, much simpler for a guy doing it at home. So let's get right into the steps of repairing this bumper cover and blending the clear coat. So if we take a look at this area here, we've got some delamination here. It looks like some damage, maybe from moving stuff in and out of the trunk or sun damage. So what we're going to start off doing is I'm going to start out by smoothing out this paint. Now, I'm going to do a light sanding on this with 600 grit sandpaper just to smooth this out without getting too aggressive with our sanding. Okay, so I've got a couple different pieces of sandpaper here. This is a little bit of 320. I think I might just hit this a little bit with the 320 and then we're going to go over it with this 600 grit foam pad. So basically all I want to do is smooth out these edges just a little bit, so when we apply our paint and our clear coat, we have a smooth surface to apply them to. Getting rid of some of this delamination. Now I'm going to be using some automotive paint and an automotive spray gun to spray that paint and clear coat. I'll be using a touch-up gun. Now, so if you have a small compressor, you can use a touch-up gun to do this. I just got a cheap touch-up gun from Harbor Freight we're going to be using. But you could also do this, although it might be a little bit more difficult, with an aerosol clear coat like a Spray Max 2K Clear. You can't really dial down your fan pattern on that aerosol can, so it's going to be a little bit more difficult to be real precise with where you put your paint in your clear coat. And that's going to be key in getting this to look good so you don't notice it's a repair. Okay, let's go over it with the 600. So this area that I am sanding right now is going to be covered with paint and clear coat. Now I'll show you what we're going to do to get that clear to adhere outside of this repair area. There'll be a little bit more preparation to make sure that clear sticks and adheres properly when we blend it. This is sometimes called a smart repair, and like I said, it's not really the correct way to do it, but you do it properly, you know, it can last for some time, but there's no real way to tell how long it's going to last for, because this area right here is getting hit by the sun directly. So eventually what's going to happen is the blend line, you're going to be able to see where that blend line is. You know, some people may not care about that. Now, it's not perfect, but we're going to leave it right there. This is 70% alcohol here. We're just going to wash this down. We've already previously washed this, and before you start sanding, you want to make sure it's nice and clean and you've washed it. All the contaminants have been removed. Now I'm washing a pretty large area just because our blend's going to go out a little ways. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take some water. This is a piece of 2,000 grit sandpaper. You could use 1,000, you could use 1,500. I wouldn't go more aggressive than 1,000 grit. And we're going to sand out in this area. The reason I like to use 2,000 is because it's easily polished after we're done. So after we blend it, we can easily polish these scratches out. But we may not have to do any polishing, and I'm going to show you how we're going to achieve that. So I'm wet sanding a large area here. Much larger than we're going to actually be applying the paint and the clear coat, but I just basically want to get some scratches in this surface so that a clear coat adheres properly. All right, let's dry this off. We'll run over it with some more alcohol just to help the drying process. This is the Harbor Freight gun. This is a touch-up gun, very inexpensive at Harbor Freight, but you can spray a fine mist out of this and be very precise with where you're putting your color. So I've got my color mixed up and it's in this gun. We're going to spray a little color on this. We're going to keep it confined to the coverage area. We're going to cover that. We'll let it flash off. We'll put another coat on, and then I'll blend out just a little bit. This is black, so it's not really going to have a problem with the color match. And then we'll apply our clear coat, and I'll show you what we need to do to wash it in, so hopefully we won't even have to polish this. Now, I'm not taping anything off. We're going to do the best we can with what we're working with. So I'm going to narrow my fan pattern way down. And I'm not going to spray a lot of volume, so I've adjusted my volume down as well. So, and then I'm going to adjust my air pressure down a little bit more for the base anyway. And then we'll just start dusting some color on here. I mean, there's not a lot of overspray or anything with this. You can, and feel free to tape off your vehicle if that's what you want to do. I'm going to go out a little bit farther. Okay, so we got our first coat of base. We'll just let that flash off a little bit. Now we'll apply our second coat. Okay, and that's it for the base. Now we'll get some clear coat in this gun, and I'll show you how we clear and then wash it in. Now it's time for a little bit of clear coat. We've got some clear coat mixed up in this gun. We're going to adjust a little bit wider fan pattern, probably a little bit more volume, about the same air pressure. Now we're going to be coming out into this blend area. Now we'll let that flash off for a few minutes, and we'll come back with one more coat. Okay, ready for our second coat. Now we're going to wash it in. And what I mean by washing, I'm going to wash in this edge of clear with this blend number 9 by upol. And this will wash in, help that clear coat to bite. Now we'll let that flash off for a little bit. Basically, it's going to help meld those two clear coats together. We may have to do a little bit of polish over this after it cures, but we'll see. So here's a good look at it. It's not absolutely perfect, but it cleaned it up so it doesn't look horrible. Now we're just going to polish these edges. You can see where the blend is. We're just going to polish this. Now, I'm just going to use this Milwaukee hand polisher. But when you buff a blend, always buff away from the blend, okay? This rotates clockwise. This is a rotary polisher. So if I'm buffing away from it, I don't want to buff into it, because then my wheel is buffing against the blend, and that'll peel back the clear a little bit. So we'll buff away from it, and it's not going to take much. We're not going to be pressing really hard. We just want to shine it up a little bit so it looks good and presentable. I am going to be using this CSI compound. This is the compound I prefer. Rub it in so it doesn't sling it everywhere. See how that looks now? It's not perfect, but you can't see where we sanded for the blend. Now we'll just do this side right here. You can see how it's dull right there. Fiber towel here. All right, that's it. Like I said, I'm not trying to make this perfect. It's just a freebie to clean this up for the customer. And you can do this at home just to make your vehicle look a little bit better. And you can see where the kind of where the blend is, but you know, overall it looks decent. This bumper is in pretty bad condition anyway, but we don't have that nasty delaminated spot on the bumper anymore. Just a quick little fix on a rear bumper. Like I said, not the absolute correct way to do it, but if you're looking just to clean up your car, that'll work for you. Something you guys can easily do at home. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, consider subscribing to the channel and liking this video. Listen, I appreciate each and every one of you watching. We'll see you next time on Garage Noise.